Welcome. We got Megatron, D-Man Fitty, Brandon Trueblood. Is this blank music rad? It's actually a band, a friend's band of mine, a friend band who my band used to play with. But it's all about a lot of red pill in their music, which is interesting. Anyhow, good to see Brandon out trucking along. Manage Roy from Mumbai, all the way from India. Good food over there in India. I do like me some Indian food. Northern or Southern? What say ye? I like them both. Anyhow, good to have everybody here. I figured, this is something that we have to understand as men. The majority of men, there's a lot of effeminate, emotional men that are in touch with their feelings now. But let's lay it down in Chinatown. Women follow their feelings. The majority of women, 98%, follow their feelings. And the other 1% to 2% have the feelings lurking all the time. Men, on the other hand, follow logic for the most part. But there are a significant amount, especially today and this month, of men who follow their feelings. Think about that. When is Rad? Karuna, when is Rad going black pill? Feelings are a woman's thing. So if you think about it, the woman is in love with her feelings. Let's just say 98%, majority of women, again, disclaimer, majority of women are in love with their feelings. That means they're in love with you. They could be in love with you right now. And go back to your times if you've been married or in a relationship or engaged or whatever, when that woman was so into you. And then a hurricane of emotions come within an hour, she hates you. She wished she never knew you. And then she was never in love with you. And then she was in love with you and so forth. So the feelings thing is something that we as men, for the most part, our brains don't think that way. And that is why men struggle with relationships. Rad went through it at the end of his marriage and beginnings of divorce. I'm trying to understand, but why? We did all these things and so forth. Facts over feelings. And we're seeing that in today's world, that facts are less important than feelings. We see that where we shop, what we eat, what we drink, what we wear, what the narrative is out there. It's basically a feeling economy. The economy runs on feelings now. Went to go a few days ago. There are a lot of foreigners in that place. Interesting. Logic over feelings always. So when men get upset, and I think we have to get to a point where we understand this conceptually, philosophically, mentally, and emotionally. You don't have a lot of leeway when it comes to a woman's feelings. Chris Rock said it beautifully. If you're in an argument with a woman, you've already lost. If you're dealing with her emotions, you have lost. If you're trying to use logic to sway someone, you've lost. So we have to accept that. And once we accept that, that's what happens. We are able to move forward. But most men can't accept it. I got a really good friend in his early 60s who continues to go after his ex-wife, his second ex-wife. He keeps trying to get her. And it's just crazy where his emotional state of being is for a 62-year-old that's worth quite a bit of money, been very successful, and just watching him in his emotions is crazy. Check out D-Man posting it up. Brandon Trueblood is streaming every day. So if guys are out there listening now or listening in the future that need a little companionship during life, check out Brandon Trueblood stream. My uncle's getting divorced. He's provoked by his wife to initiate the divorce. It's well, people don't want to. People always like to say, but he filed or she filed, whatever. It is what it is. Someone's got to file. Emotions are temporary and externally triggered. Well said, Brandon Trueblood. Well said. And they can be triggered within seconds. There are more hurricanes in a day in a lady's life than there are in 100 years in Florida. Let's just be real. And you cannot do anything when that comes, when the flurry of emotions. Basically, the only thing a man can really do is say this: I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm sorry. That's it. If you try to fix it, use logic, use some sort of reasoning, rational explanation, you are going to lose. And as Brandon has said, they are temporarily and externally triggered. Feelings change. That's why we are unable to attach themselves to any men. Well said, Jedi. Well said, brother. And so men, we've tried. I've been in that situation. I've tried to use logic and reasoning and experience to change that. It doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, you can either spin your wheels trying to make it work, which we know the outcome, or you can accept it and try to have a good life. Try to have a good life. Karuna said birth control was wrong. Birth control is turning a lot of women, changing their brains into a Skittles environment too. I've understood that birth control has moved the Skittles narrative for ladies. Well said, Karuna. Polska is back. Who authorized this unscheduled stream? Ike will be notified. Good to see Polska. Check out Polska's channel as well. Let's see. Megatron says, if it's broke, don't fix it. So, pro tip for men. I learned this when I was flying back in 2015 from Florida. Guy sitting next to me had been married twice. He had a kid from his first marriage. His kid was, 30 years old. He said, you know what? Every time you talk to most women, the majority, the audience has always changed. So what worked one time most likely won't work the next time. And that really struck me. And I had to think about that for a while. Every time you are dealing with somebody, and if you can go back to marriage or a relationship, living with someone, fiance, what have you, think about that statement. Your audience was always changing, no matter what you did. That would be very difficult if you're a comedian and all of a sudden, the people that like Andrew Dice Clay come to see you and you're like a Jim Gaffigan type. And, the humor for Andrew Dice Clay is much different than the humor for Jim Gaffigan, and he gets booed off. So there you go. There's Polska's channel. JJ MGTOW says, a lot of this goes back to meditation, meditation and consciousness. These women are stuck in their indecisive subconscious, and the medication only gets it worse. Isn't that truth? When my ex went on medication, it definitely changed everything about her. And that's another thing we're dealing with. The medicated people of this earth today. How much medication? I mean, Dak does videos about all these gals on Lexapro and talking about their experiences. I'm seeing more and more ads on YouTube based on therapy. I mean, what does that tell you? We live in a society of weakness. If you have to medicate yourself, now there are cases where that medication is extremely necessary, but I think for the majority of women, they're rushing to it because it's a quick fix, because their friends are on it and so forth. It changes them. It numbs them up. And there are men that are on it as well. So that is the reality. Women are in love with their feelings, and the feelings will dictate everything. And if feelings didn't dictate everything, we'd see a very different result in today's modern relationships. It's as simple as that. JJ says, I don't like Scientology, but one thing they are right about is the dangers of majority medication. Yeah, sure. I would agree with that statement. Anytime you're changing your brain chemistry, that's not a good thing. Like unless something is extremely off with that person's physical chemistry, potential diseases and so forth. But if you're using it to be happy, it is a very, very bad thing to do, because you're always going to chase the tail of the rabbit, and they have to increase doses and then switch medications and so forth. And then you're 15 different people. You don't even know who you are anymore. Most of these meds, and I'm not a physician, I feel like they numb the person and the person becomes completely different. From my experience living with an ex-wife, or a wife at the time. I was on meds and it's hurting me, and they only mask the problem. There needs to be a safer way. I think the greatest thing is nature. I really believe that. If you're stuck in your room, your computer, your bed, just the same environment, you're going to feel those same feelings, those same experiences. Once you get nature, it might be tough at first, but nature is the best medicine. I really believe that. Karuna says, and well said, Megatron, hive mind rules for 98%. Yes, it does. The hive is very well orchestrated. WHO 346 is back. Good to see you, brother. I've just seen on E-Man channel where he showed the wife blanked her husband because she wants a better house. That happened out here in Park City, where the lady poisoned her husband, then wrote a book about it. Now she's on trial for deleting her husband. Crazy. Brandon says, John Wayne had the answer to women's inconsistencies. John Wayne, a relic of the past. A man's man. So that's the deal. Women are addicted to their feelings. Where are the feelings? Where do most of their feelings get generated on a daily basis? Their Apple phone. Their social media accounts. That's what's feeding it. They're always attached to it. The majority of women are attached to their phones. The majority, not all. So if there's anyone listening that's a female that says, I don't do what Rad says, there's always an exception to the rule. Right? Listen to the band Ween. Did Ween sing Chocolate and Cheese? Can't remember. I'm glad other people see it where there is a hive mind or the Borg. We are one. You will be punished. The hive mind is alive and well. I mean, most ladies, just watch Oprah. The Oprah diet is the hive mind. It's as simple as that. I don't need no man. I'm strong and independent. You go, girl. I've been raising kids my whole life. Now I want to go find who I am, disregarding the feelings of my children and a family I built. Because I'm strong and independent. You go, girl. Live loud, live, laugh, love. Air 304, page cannot load. Truth, Polska. Bruce Willis, another man's man, right? I think Bruce, I liked a lot of Bruce's diehards. I thought his M. Night Shyamalan movie, Breakable or Unbreakable, was good. I thought Sixth Sense was good. I thought he was a good actor, but he married a 304, Demi Moore. So, again, even strong men can be bamboozled by the opposite sex. Seafood diet is the Oprah diet. Damn right. So that's the deal. If men are struggling with women, and again, this is a channel that talks about men's issues, and part of having men's issues is men coming out of very difficult situations. Could be marriage, custody issues, a girlfriend that breaks up, rejection, hypergamy, men that are looking for father figure types that need help because they weren't raised. But we also understand where we fit into the society. Female nature is one thing, male nature is another. How do we make it work if we're trying to make, if we go into something thinking that they're going to follow our lead? It doesn't work. So men struggle this way all the time. They'll do everything to get that woman to see it differently, but they're run by their feelings and they're externally triggered all the time. Anybody watch The Island with the two genders dropped off and women took 3 days to find a beach on an island, 3 days, and the guys were living large while they were starving? That reminds me of a quote somebody said, Who346 said, if you remove every single man off this earth for 30 days, it will be destroyed in 2 hours. If you remove all women off this earth in 30 days, man will have invented time travel. Rad, I got female clients. They're very demanding. I do the job, get paid, then I'm done with them. Get free. Good to have you, brother. Well, again, run by emotions. A lot of women, that's why you see a lot of Karens out there. Everything's emotionally based. And that's never going away. Let's consider 3% of women are good. Tell me, what is your probability that you're going to choose a good woman for your life? Very, very little. Very, very. The probability of you finding a 1 to 2% is extremely limited. Seafood. I can't get enough. Mouth black hole. There you go. The Fifth Element was a good movie. Well said, guys. I like that movie. Die Hard. Hell yeah. Die Hard was good. 3% of 4 billion. It's what? 120 million? Sure. Sure. I've been exposed to some excessive estrogen and need some like-minded men, so I found a few. There you go, Megatron. Best way to get rid of estrogen is to eat red meat and eggs. Lift heavy weights. Squats are really good for the testes. What else? What's the one? The overhead. I just did them the other day. Can't think. Squats and power cleans. Power cleans are good as well. Red meat, eggs, meat, specifically red meat with great cuts, ribeyes, things like that. Cutting out alcohol is important because alcohol inhibits obviously the cholesterol that binds the testosterone and so forth. So that's a huge deal. A lot of guys that have beer bellies, they don't have any testosterone because of the beer. Things that help guys in their later 40s and plus. I've been using the DHEA. I've also been taking Tonkat Ali. I have not needed to go and get any sort of medicated synthetic testosterone, which is becoming all the rage for men my age. Testosterone replacement therapy, I'm not interested in that. And that's another thing. Now that we're on this topic, estrogen in men is quite prevalent, especially young guys. You know, they're sitting at computers all day playing video games. They're drinking out of plastic cups that have that BPA stuff in it. They're using shampoos and soaps that have a lot of soy products. So you're seeing the diminished testosterone in men today. So really, when you have a lot of estrogen in your body, estrogen is a female hormone, or the hormone that is predominantly within females. So it would make sense that a lot of these kids today are very emotionally and mental, and they feel a lot because they have so much estrogen floating in their bodies. And that's, you're seeing that. So it is what it is. So I'm glad you're here, Megatron. Let's see what we got. Yeah, did they make the food into a pet? I believe they refused to blank. I would have been eating that afternoon. Eat, meat, squat, repeat. That's it. That's it. So if you really think about it, a lot of men struggle low T. Testosterone is the man's hormone that makes us want to build, create, lose weight, lift shit, be men. It's what really it is. If you look at the weak men in society, they don't have a lot of testosterone. Well said. Travis is back. Good afternoon, Rad. Jen, speaking of red meat, my dad brought me a buffalo ribeye to try. Never had one. Ooh, buffalo's good stuff. Nice lean. But a buffalo ribeye, I would love to try that. Good to have you, brother. Check out Travis's channel and watch his band, Curious Syndicate. I play a lot of their stuff. Arshad is back. Good to see you from India. What if women disappeared? We would find a way to freeze viable eggs and develop the artificial womb. Potentially. But we're here because of women. And that's really what we have to understand. You can't live with them and you can't live without them. Right? So why don't we understand this? Why don't we just say, you know what? They're from Mars, we're from Venus, or women are from Venus, men are from Mars, or whatever the hell that thing was. And just realize they are the way they are. We can't change them. And we are the way we are. So if you know that going in and the potential of you having a relationship or a marriage that actually works is so minuscule, where would you put all of your energy? Project AZ, what's up, brother? Good to have you. What's up, brother? There it is. Check out. Thanks, D-Man, for putting that up. Project AZ, I miss you and your old videos. I'm trying to get those videos. Sac AB from France just sent me about 10 of them. Majority are live. I'm going to try to put all of my small, just videos that aren't live up first and then go from there. But yeah, I'm pretty bummed out. I've appealed it 3 times and, well, that's what happens. I started doing squats twice a week. I hated it. My knees hurt, but after 2 weeks, I felt so strong on the bottom end. I felt like a restrained monster. Squats, man. Yeah. If you haven't done them for a while, you're going to ache, but they are awesome. They are awesome. We got burgers or tacos. Polska, I'm going to go with tacos. The Mexican tacos. So that's where we're at. I mean, again, the man is interested in, that's a problem with most men. We try to change. I try to change my ex-wife. I tried to change my wife when I was married to her. It doesn't work. I wish I would have known this stuff before, during, and after. I would have had a completely different setup. It still wouldn't have lasted, but it is what it is. Modern women refuse to submit to the man. That is the main problem. Get free. In most countries, you're absolutely right. There has to be a hierarchy. You cannot have 2 drummers. Well, there was a band, if Mysterio is listening, there was a band in Portland. They actually had 2 drummers called Sweaty Nipples back in the late 80s, early 90s. But for the most part, you don't have 2 lead singers. You don't have 2 captains on a plane. You have a captain and you have a first officer. That's how it works. There's not 2 presidents. There's a president and a vice president. Thanks, Project AZ. I got to figure out how to get those back. Tacos are always classic. Yeah, I've got the Rumble. I've got 2 channels. Got to work on that, guys. I'll figure it out. What up to you, MGTOW Outlaw? Check out MGTOW Outlaw's channel. He's been putting up some stuff lately. Try breakfast tacos, eggs, corn chips, and carne asada. Maybe a few avocados and salsa. It's very good. I could eat that for lunch. Mr. Rad here is CGA saying that holds me close to going my own way. There you go. Took your advice from last week to do at least 3 20 hours fast. I worked fantastic at 5. Good for you, I am, John. Good for you. I would say you don't want to do it every day. 3 to 5 days is perfect. Take a day off. Just eat normal. Don't go overboard. Then get back on it. But when I've gone literally 80% of the month fasting and I take like a couple of days off, things get a lot better. I feel like my body changes quicker. But anyhow, terrific news, brother. Terrific news. Delhart McGregor says, I can live without them. That is a very, very realistic statement there, Delhart. Good to have you. Speaking of 2 drummers, Rebel, check out White Rabbits, a song called Percussion Gun. White Rabbits. I've heard of White Rabbits. I'll have to check them out. All right, MGTOW Outlaw. We were watching when I went live. Well, there's so many live streams now. I got to get one in the day. We got when I changed my focus from her to me, it ended pretty quick. That's a thing. Most guys put the focus on her. Most guys put the focus on her, and they literally will jump when she says what. He'll say how high when she says jump. He's off his purpose. Jeremy from the UK, good to see you, brother. If you're struggling with squats, my advice would be to squat down without weight and shuffle your feet until you're comfortable. Then you use that as your foot position when you add the weight. Well said, brother, and happy birthday to you. Was that last week? Yeah, squats. There's also what's called a Hindu squat, Hindu, and you just use body weight. So awesome tip, Jeremy, for those that are getting into it. CGA says women are only loyal to their feelings. I would add only if they are picked by their hypergamy. Absolutely. Loyalty is to their feelings, which their feelings is their boyfriend, and they channel that boyfriend into their feelings and their feelings into their decision-making. And it's also fueled by social media, by the hive mind, by Brufalt's law, by hypergamy. They can always do better. Remember, a woman can always do better than you, is the majority of thinking. And if that's not the case, then there would be less hypergamy. There would be less pre-fall thought. But they always believe subconsciously, somehow, and consciously that they can always do better for you. Let them go. Let them do better than you. You shouldn't have to. Men should really, truly understand this if they want to go their own way. You can't fix them. You can't change them. You're dealing with hypergamy. You're dealing with pre-fall thought. You're dealing with the hive mind. You're dealing with their emotions. And what do they bring to the table outside of that? If she's not making you food, scratching your back, at your beck and call from every intimate moment possible, bringing you nice cold drinks, spending time with you, regardless of what you do, then what does she bring to the table? WHO says, thanks, Jeremy. I usually use body weight. I feel form over function and time in the squat. I think body weight exercises are great. Wall squats are awesome. Do a minute wall squat. 90 degrees, your knees to your feet. Sit there for 90 seconds on a wall or a minute. Man, it works your friggin' quads and your hamstrings. Plats relate to squat like back straight as if you're seeping downward in a pool. There you go. Planks are also good. I like doing planks. Parents force their kids to get married. When the marriage turns south, they tell their kids to take divorce and live their own life. That's why they force their kids to go that route. Yeah. She smells pretty. That is about it. It's nice to look at. Yeah. I mean, again, you have to ask yourself, you have to ask yourself, what is your purpose in life? If your purpose in life is to chase the skirt, like John Tranthony and other PUAs, when you put a woman center to your life and your purpose, it never ends well. When you put your purpose in front, when your girlfriend is your purpose, when your wife is your purpose, you're going to go places. And again, Rad's not monk. Okay? But I respect my monk brothers. I just know how to navigate life now. And I don't deal with any bullshit. It is easier if you put magazines under your heel. There you go. I've seen some people doing squats with weights under their heels, like one of those 45-pound plates. I really have tight shins and calves. It helps with the knee pain too. Bicycling, I mountain bike, so I get a lot of leg and core workout, which is great, and so forth. Singletown Bachelor's in the house. Good to see you. She smells pretty. It's just a face as fake up his. Check out Singletown's channel. He's been out there knocking them out. Good to have you, brother. Hope all is well over in Europe. Women's feelings are more real than our existence. Remember that, bro. We don't exist if we don't give them the feels. The feelings can change very, very quickly. What you did for her last week and she was in love with you could be completely changed within an hour of you doing that. Just by you saying something or she getting triggered by something. Again, the purpose of this is not to bash, it's to understand females and males, to help men say, guess what? If I can't do anything logically or rationally to help fix the situation, then what am I getting? Why would I continue to do that? And men, 98%, 99% of men continue to do this. No wonder they're miserable. No wonder they're lonely. No wonder they keep getting remarried. Because they haven't figured out that yet. And God help us for understanding this, that this is literally, understanding this red pill is a superpower. Now, some guys find out about the red pill and they run back to the plantation because they have all this knowledge. Now they can morph a woman into how they should really be. Crazy. Thanks, T-Man, for putting Singletown Bachelors up. Cubing Speed said, just visiting, going back to sleep. Good to have you, brother. Sweet dreams. Feelings are like the wind. It changes rapidly and ferocity for no apparent reason. Yeah, they're hurricanes. They are hurricanes. You're dealing with multiple hurricanes. When I was at the end of my marriage, man, it was a shit show. It was better to stay away from her than to be around her because you didn't know what she's going to throw at you. Again, female nature versus male nature. It's as simple as that. A lot of high emotions at the end of a marriage, beginning of a divorce, and so forth. I'm having a camping van on my land, so making a shed is number one priority. Awesome, brother. What kind of van you got out there? One of those VWs? Ford Transit vans? So she was a thrower, mine was a stabber. Could be. Could be. So make your girlfriend your purpose. How about that? Make your girlfriend your experiences in life. Make your girlfriend self-improvement. I guarantee you're going to get 100% return on investment. Putting it into a woman, and the majority of women, is the worst investment ever. That's like putting $1,000 into an account, and that account goes bankrupt within a week. You lost everything. But that account looked beautiful. It looked real. It looked completely an amazing account with great investment, great portfolio managers, and it goes out of business. Rad, no bashing. I just finished dealing with my red pill rage 2.0. I'm okay. I love thinking about them. Don't want anything like friendship with these folks. You know? I completely get that. I think once you get through it and just realize, you know what, there's nothing we could have done different. You're dealing with emotions and feelings. That's a very difficult place to be. It's extremely slippery. There's really nothing you can do. And when you're fine with that, when you accept that and say, you know what, I can't deal with feelings. We're not equipped to deal with them. Then we can move forward. I am cool with ladies. You know, it's funny. People say, you know, Rad, I forget a lot of young guys that'll email me and say, what do you think about dating apps? And guys are still on it. They're still getting, you know, rejected by women. I said, you got to go. If you're going to go on a dating app, it's entertainment. It's like playing a slot machine, for hell's sake. Don't expect to be a winner out of it. Just laugh at all the goofy profiles about how she don't need no man. She got her shit together, you know, and she's 2, thinks she's a 20, right? If you're going to go, if you want to entertain, maybe someone in your neighborhood wants to go to dinner with you, then go to dinner. Just use it as an experiment, you know? So you can navigate life with or without women in it. It's as simple as that. And there's guys that don't want anything to do with them. Get it. Completely get it. And for the most part, why would you want to deal with most of them, right? I you know, I don't have a problem because I can see behind everything what the situation is. And it's so simple. It doesn't matter if they're 18 or 58. They all have the same agenda. So, you know, find out what makes you happy. It's put behind a car, a 4x4. Gotcha. Cool, man. Rad, do you think women have their own playbook or strategy when it comes to? Absolutely. You know what it is? I'm a 10 and I'm the table. He needs to worship me. Simple as that. That is their playbook. It's the Oprah diet too. Don't do it, says Dingletown Bachelor. Mistakes were made, sure, but there were on both sides. I accepted. I understood my weak approach, and appeasement caused a lot of it. You're well said, brother. I mean, we've all been there. The only reason I do this channel is to share my past experiences and what I've gathered in the 50 years of my life. Hopefully, men will understand and appreciate it. Most kids today, 18 to 30, they see the dynamics, but they wish in their mind that it would be different. They could have a girlfriend. They could do that stuff. Tinder is a cesspool. You are absolutely 100% right about that. Recently bought a really good Spanish tuition podcast. Rad, been learning a little Spanish for a while, but this course is really helping. Feels good to be learning a new language. Well said, brother. You and FJT. Spanish is muy fácil en la calle. You got to learn it. The best way to learn Spanish is to listen to music in Spanish and watch TV. You got to get your brain trained. You got to get your hearing trained up too. But good for you. Those are my pro tips for you, Jeremy. I'm happy knowing I can't work with them that way. I respect guys that do have friends as women. I'm good with having their acquaintance, even shoring the breeze in 3 throws and don't. Yeah, you decide how you play with it. It's really that simple. Again, 3 sisters, a mother, an ex-wife, a daughter, neighbors. I work with women. I'm around them, but I know how to navigate. And I think that's the key. If you go through this and you would listen to channels, you learn how to navigate. You learn what triggered you before you knew this information. Their playbook is instilled by their mommy at birth. Well said, WHO. Thanks, D-Man, for putting that up. Women are trying to become God to man. Worshipping women isn't right, and they want us to. It's not that. Yeah, it's the Oprah diet. That's their playbook. If you really think about it. Shout out to Mouth Agape. Good to have you here, brother. That is their playbook. They are all 10s plus, even the heavies. They're all perfect. They all want the same man. 6'6", $6 million a year, 6-pack, does everything they say, is alpha one day, beta the next. I mean, again, delusion for 300, Trebek. Let's see. Started learning Korean 2 years ago. I'm an intermediate at best, but still struggle with it. Gotten a lot better. Good for you guys. Learning language, and I speak Spanish, a little bit of Portuguese, but it's all staying with it, and it's learning the vowels. Here's another pro tip: when you're speaking Spanish, for example, the vowels. Most Americans and Western folks use American vowels. They'll say camisa. That means camisa in Spanish, right? I said it right, camisa. But most Americans or Westerners will say camisa, right? They're using the vowels of their native language. You got to use the vowels of the foreign language. That's what's going to make you stand and be successful. I'm content with their acquaintance. I'm too serious to deal with them as friends because I take friendship with men seriously. So why should I play nice and pander them like most of the U.S. does with them? Well, sure. The Midtown Finium, good to have you, brother. Man, I learned so much since my divorce last 2 years by reading mental health books regarding BPD. She was a manosphere. It's amazing how they are universal. The guy that helped me specifically was Big John. I mean, I watched his videos. I could just relate to the rawness, the authenticity, the anger, the funny shit. But everybody's got something that's helped them. Some people, it was Rational Male by Rollo Tomato. Some people, it was The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar. The Predatory Female, with just their experience, listening to other channels. Singletown Bachelor, Oprah Diet Barf. Yeah, she's definitely a real good example of relationships. Her boyfriend is just a simp. Stop by Midtown Finiums and drop him a like and a sub. Well said. They say they can stay 10 and delusional, but within the gates of a sanatorium. Well said. Vows of the Killer. I started Spanish too with Korean. It didn't end well. I was fizzled. The issue with learning language is they speak it really fast. You've got to train your ears for the speed of the language. When I first got to Venezuela in 1991, I felt like they were speaking Chinese. It was so fast. My brain, my ears could not process it to my brain what they were speaking. And so it takes some time to immerse yourself. That's why listening to music, reading books in Spanish, regardless if you know it, just try to do it and keep that shit on in the background. There's an Oprah diet bar. I don't think Oprah's ever been married. She had a kid out of wedlock, I understand. I don't know if she adopted the kid or it was or something happened. She lives with a guy, never got married. She could be Skittles, we don't know. They could both be Skittles. But she's teaching women to go follow their dreams and break families up. Or at least she has a narrative of empowerment, which is fine if you want to do that. But if you have a family and kids, you have to understand, to be an empowered lady today, an independent, strong-minded woman, there's also consequences with those choices. A lot of these gals that follow a career end up no kids, not married, no ton of them, and angry because they lost their youth chasing a degree, chasing the corporate ladder. There's consequences to following the Oprah diet. Oprah's 6 toes. Rad Big John was the man. I wish I knew someone who had his old vids. That man was a man's man and many men, but was effed by big time by his ex-wife. You can still see him. He's on MGTOW Mirror Project. MGTOW Mirror Project is where all of his videos are. I think he just got upset in the end after he did that CNN article, and then he started, or that interview, and then he started the Society for Men's Freedom, and then he either got canceled or he just said, he wanted to completely shift the dynamics. And, as everybody know, it's very difficult to change. The MRAs tried it. It didn't work. You don't recruit for red pill. Red pill is you find it on your own. Typically, most men find it how to deal with an ex-wife, how to deal with my wife divorcing me, how to get back with an ex, that shit. They start watching videos. They start looking in the comments and realize their story is in line with a lot of other guys are thinking. Good to have you doing well, Midtown Finium. But that's still, ladies are in love with their emotions. They're not in love with the man. The man could potentially fuel their emotions, but there is also a fantasy that is derived by what they feel. Is it fantasy or reality? Patriots is back. Good to see you. Big John is doing, the Prepared Mind. I follow him. I like to follow him and watch him just because it reminds me of Big John back, Big Town. Red pill suppository issued by the court depends on the size. Yes, it does. Custody and alimony. I never met a man other than CGA that made it so damn lucid about the crazy train these blank when their feels led them to bait and switch. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. There's guys that are like, you know what? If I just stay the line and if I become that 6'6", six-pack, $6 million man, I can keep her. No, you can't. No, you can't. Lone Wolf is back. It was much better in the 90s. Now you have to compete with 500 guys on social media, if not more. Good to have you, Lone. Yeah, that is the case. Yeah, Big John. We like Big John. Guess what? Oprah and all other women have in common. They all got abused by their peers when they were kids. She used to go to school wearing. There you go. People ask all the time, ladies, there's a lot of female content creators that are trying to tell men how to date women, how to be around women, how to, even women in our space. And I have to say, men understand men, not women understanding men. Men understand men. Women can try, but they don't have the same brain. Even they have some kind of emotional story. Yep, that's true. Yeah. Ever seen these women melt down after getting caught cheating, acting like a 2-year-old tantrum? Scary stuff. Yes, I've seen a lot of videos like that. A buddy of mine walked in and his old lady was having an affair. And you know what she said? She didn't even apologize. She said, can't I just get privacy in my own house? I mean, yeah. Ishi says, remember, they take dumps like us. They're more than likely fat. And in 2023, we can buy the poon. It's a lot different than it is 30 years ago. That's for sure. They have so many options. Patriot says nuclear war will potentially blank this planet. If not sooner. If not sooner. Get Free says, we understand their brains better now. They're nuts. Well, that's the thing. That's all the whole red pill is understanding reality versus fantasy. Fantasy is saying I can change my lady's thinking. No, you can't. Reality says my brain is much different than her brain. She's in love with her emotions. It's not she's in love with me. She's in love with the idea of being in love. And the emotions fuel that deception and that delusion. One minute she's in love with you, the next minute she wished she never met you. Hurricanes are constantly on the weather report on every single day in a woman's life. 98%. Ever been behind a woman at Subway getting a sandwich with the toppings? It takes them 10 minutes to do options. Oh, yeah, I've been behind him. Some lady was ordering In-N-Out the other day, and it was taking forever. What the hell is she ordering? They have been exposed in their nature due to TikTok. Well said, brother. There is no privacy in marriage. Now, your ex is telling her mom and friends everything about you. That's what happened to me. Rad, I learned if you don't want to compete with ladies, don't commit to them. Don't even cohabitate with them. They can cry and wail, and even sit on a face. No effing way. But once you understand who you are in life and who they are, you can have a good life, regardless of what you've been through. Listening live from the unit, surrounded by fat ladies that gave up on their men after getting their ring and babies. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to stress out, raise your voice, and keep them in check like that old school dads. They're like bratty, spoiled kids. Wolf King Sigma. A lot of women today are in love with their emotions, and you're going to be dealing with that. Mine, at the end of our marriage, she threw tantrums. She'd run away. She couldn't face anything. She couldn't even discuss anything. She would label me as, abusive and controlling and abusive. And she'd run away. So I had to speak through attorneys, and that costs a lot of money. All our thoughts are not our own. Nature owns our thoughts. Patriots won. Laying it down in Chinatown. That's some Buddhism right there. Quantum physics. My experience, you do all that, they just do it behind your back. Yeah, well said. I used to say the majority of ladies are 5-year-olds with breasts. Simple as that. 5-year-olds with breasts. I was abusive and controlling during the end, but no problem the 15 years before. Yeah, that's me. Let's see, I was abusive. Let's see, I was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I was abusive. I was controlling. I was verbally abusive. But for 16 years before that, lots of videos, lots of home videos, pictures of us smiling, laughing, joking, having an intimate relationship for all those years to the very end. 6 months before I left the house, it stopped. But I was abusive. I think someone's got to make a shirt that says abusive and controlling. Probability says there are life in other places, including Earth. What is the explanation given by scientists that they are not able to find life in other planets or solar systems? I don't know. Could be gravity. Could be lack of water, lack of oxygen. I know women who have the brains that will beat me anyway and more masculine than me, but when it does matter, devious, frivolous, and deranged on where it counts. Just understand how a woman's brain functions. We don't know how it works. We know how it functions. And it runs off feelings. The majority of women run off their feelings. That's why every day is a new day for them. Every hour is a new hour. It's as simple as that. Now, there is a 1% to 2% that are more, I've met some logical women, but they still have feelings that lurk. That's funny, WHO. The one thing I learned about WYMEN is that they don't like peace, but they do love drama. In fact, drama for WYMEN is like crack cocaine. Well, the reason they like drama, because again, attention is their currency. Let's break it down in Chinatown. If attention is their currency, positive and negative fulfill the same role. They still get attention from it. The frequency is a little bit different, but it's still the attention. They love it. That's why they love to fight. That's why they love to argue, because it's still attention. You are still giving them attention, whether it's positive or negative. People are like, why does she fight with me? Because she enjoys it. What do you think life will be on? I just had a text. on another planet. Plus, our tech isn't the best. Still takes eons to get images from. I don't. You know what? That's a pipe dream to get to Mars. First of all, if Elon Musk can send a contingent of people that don't explode in the atmosphere, I mean, can you imagine living in a goddamn bubble like SpongeBob, Sandy the Chipmunk? You're living in that goddamn fishbowl hat for the rest of your damn life? No, no desire. I gotta say that the foreign girls were the easiest to date, but kind of cold and robotic. American biatches blew the ship up with nonsense. I think Europeans just have a different way of being. I think that they are more calculated, cold. So our telescope catches the past, not present on those planets. There you go. The sun, the light from the stars started 25 million years ago. Think about that. My friend from high school looks like a zombie in his photos with his wife. He looks lifeless, like all of his energy is gone. A lot of guys like that, get free. Why need women if you are bigger, faster, and smarter? We love the anatomy of women, that's for sure. Don't engage in that argument. That's an instant loss. Well said, D-Man. If a maps don't want to meet me in my camo in the dark night, then leave my kiddos alone. I also found that acting in a calm, different manner when women try to argue with me drives them nuts. Oh, absolutely. See, they want you engaged in a heated argument because they want the attention, but they also want to set you up. A lot of them, especially a lot wives that are divorcing you, they'll use that to set you up. Be very, very careful. Keep your nose clean. This has been a great stream, you guys. Remember, your girlfriend is your purpose, your self-improvement. Their boyfriend is their feelings. It's as simple as that. Stay safe out there. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back soon. Thanks to all of my moderators for hanging out. Wolf says if I give them the 10-dick penetrator smasher, the big booty Polish girl, they come around all the time for more. There you go. Check out Dak. Good to have Dak here. Good to see you. Check out Dak's channel. I like watching Dak's stuff. Good stuff. Well, Rod, you also be cold when you freeze your ass off half the year in Scandinavia. Yeah, not a big fan of the winter now that I've gone through these 10 crazy winters. I like women a lot, but not enough to contend with what they feel they require from us, and that's why I keep these she-devils where they belong. In the streets! All right, we're out. You guys have a great day. Check all the streams. And check out all of the creators and give them subs and likes. Rebel against defeat.